Yeah, you
I just
way
looked
too many
away.
dolls.
Yeah, I brought like six
He
dolls.
left like 2 stuff. Well, he called them stuffies at my house.
Yeah,
Stuffies.
Miss Rachel, right? Trip's not giving Miss Rachel
He
back.
actually was playing with them too.
How many stuffies do you have?
Too many to count.
Give me,
They're all
give
over
me
the
a
house.
rough number.
50.
50.
Yeah, and some are in the attic because we had too many, and some have like eyes that could be like swallowed.
In clarification, stuffies are what?
Stuffed animals, dolls, like
50.
oh yeah, like it's out of control.
Welcome back. Episode 5.
We're not experts.
We're just
We're
winging
just
it.
dads.
Just winging it through the diapers, chaos, and life.
Winging it one diaper at a time. That's the dad chapter. Here we go, boys.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'll
do
start off.
Let's just start off with the
Whatever.
obvious. What's on your head?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we look good today. Can we just say that?
Well, Keo's feeling extra confident today.
It's
We don't
summer-
know what
summer
happened this
mode.
morning, but
It's Keo
do it again.
in summer mode, so
okay.
stress free. I'm just on full time dad duty. Speaking of the DILF brand, don't know if you ever heard of it, but the DILF brand is for dads that can pack lunches, change diapers, and still manage to look good doing it. And DILF is all about showing up, staying present, and wearing the love loud. So, damn, I love fatherhood. Shout out to the DILF brand.
Shout out to Dilt Brand. Check it out. The hat.
Appreciate the gear.
Appreciate
Thanks
it,
for the
bud.
merch. Damn, I love fatherhood. Great
So-
brand. Great brand.
I know we were just talking about. Well, Kevin asked, have we changed any routines or anything? Kendrick has. I haven't really. But to be as realistic as possible, like this morning, the wife's on a bachelorette party, so me and the little man are together, and you guys text us. All right, let's go to breakfast, 9 a.m. sharp. And I'm sitting there like, all right, I'll get up now. No worries. I'll take a shower. Best thing ever when they're sleeping, you could take a shower and not worry about it. I bring a little baby monitor in there so I can glance over when I'm in the shower. And I get out, do my routine, brush my teeth, hair. All of a sudden, I'm like, looking at time, I'm like, this kid's still sleeping? I'm like, and you don't want to wake up a sleeping baby. It's not fun at all.
Rule number 1.
Yeah.
What?
Do not wake a sleeping baby.
Why?
I have PTSD.
From what?
That's a
they
whole
like-
nother
guess-
story.
Is there a certain time you need to wake up by? Or
No, you just kind of let them do their thing. I mean, you trying to get them on a schedule, but like last night, he had a later nap in the day, so then he typically goes to bed later, so he was going to wake up later today. And I've woken him up in the past, and never again will I do that because they become like a bear. Like they're just
wait, so are you saying it's his fault why you guys were late?
Can we blame Trippy?
I hope not.
Yeah, we're taking the easy out here. We're blaming Trip for being fashionably late today.
One time I thought it was like, I think it was a Saturday. My wife was like doing the dishes or something like that. And I was just downstairs watching TV, and the baby monitor, he started crying and it was up. I was like, all right. I was like, you know what? I'll go get him. She's busy. I'll go help her out. She's trying to be nice. I go up there. I pull him out of his room. I bring him downstairs, put him out in the living room, and the kid just sinks forward and just thuds his head on the floor. And I'm like, well, I didn't even know what to say. And he just starts hysterical crying. Then she starts screaming at me, you can't do that. You gotta ease into it. Meanwhile, I didn't know any better because she's usually the one that gets up with her, breastfeeds them. That was like her routine. I was just trying to help out. Long story short, you gotta like kind of ease into it. Like this morning, he finally got up when I was like brushing my teeth, and I opened the door, and it gives you like that smile, which is like the best thing first thing in the morning.
I do hear that is one of the best feelings.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah.
And when they first wake up, like they
Just
just look at you,
fills
just-
your cup.
like imagine after like a good night rest, like you slept for like 12 hours and all of a sudden you just wake up and see, assuming probably your favorite person, right? It
Yeah,
has to be
pretty
such a good
much.
feeling.
Definitely in
Yeah.
the top 3.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. And then I just opened the door. He smiled at me. I was like, hey, Trippy. And then I went back, did my thing. And then 2 minutes later, I went in the room and I lowered the curtain down to let a little bit more sunlight in, kind of let him get going. And then by the time I was done, I was like, all right, you ready, buddy? And Enzo got off the bed and he came in with me. And by then he was ready, standing up in his crib, picked him up,
Ready
and
to go.
went downstairs ready to go. So I learned my lesson.
Okay.
That's definitely a dad tip. Don't wake up a sleeping baby. Just let him do his thing.
Sounds like common sense to me.
It's like us. Who wants to be woken up before they're ready to wake
no
up?
one likes that.
Yeah. Same with the dog. Same with, any living creature, I would imagine.
I'm sitting there texting Kendrick like, "Yo, do you think you can pick me up? My mom's. I got to drop the kid off. He didn't get up yet. I was panicking a little bit." He's like, I mean, he gets it. So he was like, "Yeah, we'll make it work."
Wait, so how long you riding solo? All weekend?
Since last night, yeah. I came. I got home from work, and my mom was there because she had to leave. So my mom kind of just like handed him off to me and was like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah." So just last night into this morning.
Is this the first time?
I doubt it.
No, not the first time.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, he's over a year
So
old.
what's on
You've
the
had-
agenda?
It's probably like second or third time, but because
TJ.
she always just wants to be with him. She loves him. So
You clocked out of your 9 to 5, quote unquote, and then you clocked into your dad
Yeah, more
duty
like
job for the whole weekend.
more like 6:30.
Right?
It
Working
depends.
overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about to be a boys' weekend, right? Sounds like it.
That's why
You
Trip
and
was excited.
You can't. Yeah, basically. But it's funny. You can't take anything for granted because, like, honestly, like I got home and I'm like, all right, like now I got to watch him. Like I'm a little sweaty from the day. It's the summertime, running around, worrying about getting parts, talking to customers, yada yada. And I was like, Ma, I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. She's like, you want me to stay for a few minutes? I'm like, please, because like you don't like. It's so funny, but you don't get like when you're by yourself with just him. Like I have like a camera on him, but like I got to do my thing sometimes, and it's like you leave him, then he starts crying. I try to put the TV on. Sometimes I put him in his walker and I just leave the door open and I just do my thing.
I mean,
and then
I
I
don't
talk
blame
to
you.
him because it's the little things that you don't get it until you're in it. But that's the reality. Like you don't have time to yourself anymore.
That
You-
alone time
you
is
can't
gone.
even you can't
That's
even go
right.
number 2 by yourself anymore. Like
For
I'm not even kidding.
vacation, Yeah.
And I mean, if my wife's there, it's one thing. If it's just the boys,
I
forget
second
about it.
that. I sometimes like I've heard some statistic that like dads spend like 7 hours a week in the bathroom, like
7 hours a week.
hiding from their kids.
Jesus.
I don't know the accuracy to that.
No,
but
there actually
to some
probably
extent,
is.
right?
'Cause
Like
most guys go on their phone when they go to the bathroom.
yeah,
That's
and
like a
then
thing.
like so now my daughter is able to. She's 2.5 almost, and she knows how to like pretty much get open any door. Like we had to keep changing the child-proofing locks on all the handles, so she can open the bathroom door. Yeah, she'll just walk in and be like, "Oh, Dad." I'm like, "Oh yeah, hey, what's up?"
I didn't get to that level. He actually just swings the door. He's obsessed with swinging it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
the bathroom door will click close. So then it actually becomes like a little game, and it buys me some time. I open it up, and he laughs, and then he shuts it on me again.
It's like an escape room. You got to go through like 3 layers of security just to get the door open now.
Yeah.
So
you gotta do what you gotta do.
I love when there's random people in our house like doing jobs and they can't navigate to where they need to go. Like they're trying to
because
get
of
they're trying to get to the basement or upstairs and they're trying to figure out these locks. I'm like, yeah. My toddler can't do that either. Or sometimes I'm like, my toddler can do that and you can't, but it's funny.
And I think that's the craziest part. Like as they get older and as time goes on, like you never know where you're gonna get that day. Like every day could be completely different.
Box of chocolates.
Like they're growing, they're able to do new things the next day. Now he's walking, he's talking. Like what's next?
Baby
You
genius.
can't go to the bathroom now. What's gonna happen when he's 2, 3? It's like
yeah, they'll be getting our credit cards.
it's like a balancing act of like just like
Apple Pay.
making it work.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like do what you got to do.
But
That's
yeah,
crazy.
just to finish up the morning story. Yeah, you'll learn one day, Kevin. I was sweating honestly because like Kevin's like, don't be late. He's texting us bright and early, like
They're always late.
Yes, he's like diner 9:30 sharp. Don't be late. And I'm like, okay, TJ, be ready at 8. We're gonna be there on time. And then one thing leads to another. It's not Trip's fault. It's more our fault. But we got there like 9:45. So fashionably
You made it
late,
work.
but yeah, we still
found a
made
way.
it.
Yeah, that's all that
Thanks
matters.
for understanding. You'll get there one day.
And it's I mean that's kind of like the topic of what we wanted to discuss today. which
That's
is
right.
like
It's a perfect segue.
this balancing act. You always hear about work-life balance and like you always treat it as 2 separate entities. It's kind of like you were thinking about, I guess when you got home yesterday, you were thinking about ordering parts, thinking about your job, like work's fresh on the mind, but now you got to go right into dad mode and just kind of transition. And then you still got to go to the bathroom. Thank God your mom was there, but like what happens next time? Do you go to the bathroom at work? It's
Thanks,
just like,
Mom.
all right,
Shout out, Mrs. Boyd.
always got to be there. But
No,
it's just like,
you're right.
it's just like, it's still on you. It's not like you have like severance, kind of like innie and outie.
Ooh.
It's kind of just like, all right, how do you like decompress instantly and go right into dad mode. It's like you just do it.
You just got to do it. You just got to suck it up. And
So it's not even balance. It's like, what is it?
Great
No.
analogy. It's just part of your life now.
It's life.
Yeah.
I think if we look at it more of like a circle,
Yeah.
kind of maybe make that mind shift, because originally, yeah, I totally like work-life balance, but I think if you put two of them into one bucket, and sometimes you got to dedicate more time to work, but then other times you got to dedicate more time to the family. So I feel like instead of separating them, maybe the idea is to, it's one life and you just got to find a balance, and sometimes one's going to pull you more than the other.
It's almost like that pie chart. It's kind of like each
Right.
week may require a little bit more of you in that certain category.
Yeah. And it
But
could
the entire
change
cycles there.
day to
Some
day.
weeks need to be more work focused. Some of it needs to be more family focused. It's like that's where the balance is.
And
Being able
I
to
heard
make that call.
Right. Did you ever hear, I don't know if you heard about the juggling analogy, but speaking of like trying to talk about work and home life and your own health and all that, like imagine juggling. I heard this analogy, like if you had, let's say, 3 juggling balls, right? And one let's call work, one let's call family, one let's call health, like your own well-being. So if you have all these 3 juggling balls, they're not all the same. Like some are glass and some are rubber or plastic. So some you can drop and they don't break. So let's say work, for example. If you drop a work ball, because the other ones are more important, it's okay. You can usually bounce back. The rubber ball will bounce back, but the glass ball, like let's say family's glass and your own health is glass, like you drop that one, that could cause some serious damage and maybe, irreparable damage. So I try to think of that, because sometimes you need to drop one. Like
And
you
to
can't
be
juggle
clear,
all
it's
of them.
2 rubber balls, 1 glass ball.
It depends on how you want to
Well, how
define
many balls?
it.
I would
how many
say
balls
2.
are you juggling?
I'm sure sometimes it might be 50.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
Right.
at
And
each
so you
stage.
just have to realize they're not all equal. I mean, some you can drop. Like I would, personally, I would define my work ball as rubber or plastic. I could drop that one. If I miss a deadline at work, I can bounce back usually. Like, my work is understanding. My students are understanding.
So is that giving yourself like an excuse?
I would say yes. Yeah, I mean, but it's also hopefully understood by.
But what if they were all glass balls?
Then some you just have to
You
be
can't drop
willing,
any of them.
willing to break, right?
Like,
And
why are you juggling something that you are okay with breaking?
that's
you
a
know?
good point. Yeah, I mean, so if you
It's a
can
valid
find
How do
a
you cut
way,
that out?
I don't think there's enough hours in the day to keep all those
I
afloat.
think you got to prioritize.
Yeah. Like, is
Right.
everything maybe not as important?
Exactly. For me, I think the work one would definitely be one I would drop. No offense to my work. I love my work. But, if I got to pick family or my own health over work, like I got to drop the work ball and hopefully it'll bounce back, because if I drop the family one, like, if I take a month off of work, I think it'll be okay. I'll get back into it, but if I take a month off of my family, that's going to be hard to make up.
What if it's not about the whole dropping idea, but what about you just stop juggling? And maybe
Altogether.
you just need a break from juggling. It's like, how often are you giving yourself like a week reset?
Right.
So maybe not juggle
think
for a
that
week, and that's vacation.
I think that fits into your like your own health, own
So that
well-being
person-
ball.
regardless if it's rubber, glass, wood. If you drop something, you still drop the ball. And
Yes.
assuming if you're playing any kind of sport, it's not a good thing.
No.
And like giving yourself like that credit, like to be okay with that is like, all right, it's okay this week, but not next week. It's not going to be okay.
Right.
It's like,
So
all right, but so that ruins the chance for you to stay consistent. Ruins the chance. Not saying ruins, but who knows?
it's all about habits.
It's like if you can't afford to break it, don't be
Don't
juggling
pick it up in the first place.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin's the go-getter with his atomic habits, and like, so if you can juggle all 5, 10 balls at once, then that, kudos to you. Tip my cap. But like if I think I've missed more days at work in my past 2 years than I have in my previous 8. I'm pretty confident saying that. So coincidence? I think not. My
No.
daughter was born just over 2 years ago. So
I think in the role of being a father, you're irreplaceable. Whereas at work, there's always a replacement. Not saying you're going to get fired, but someone can always take your job.
exactly.
No one else can be the father of your daughter and your son.
Right.
And same thing goes for a mother. So
But in any
that's,
case,
that's the way I look at it.
there's always someone that can step in for you, whether any kind of family, personal,
Of course.
work. Someone's like, if you're dropping the ball somewhere, someone is going to need to pick up the slack. You may not know who that person is, but assuming you just said like the father's replaceable, assuming that like the mother steps in, But what happens when the mother's not there? It's like where's the idea of like someone needs to pick up the slack somewhere?
Right. I think TJ, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you said irreplaceable at home.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah, the father's irreplaceable home.
Okay.
Same as goes for the mother.
So in terms like if I was to, God forbid, check out of this world like today, all right, so
we're saying
my job's going to be filled at work, and
I'm saying
in a couple
his
weeks.
job will be taken. Yes, within
but my
a few
job
weeks.
at home, I don't know if
There-
that
no,
would be.
I mean,
Oh, so
it might
the
be filled at
same.
some point. Who knows? But you know what I mean.
Right,
You know where I'm
right.
going
so the
with
way
that.
I'm looking at it is, it sounds like family is going to be a glass ball no matter what week.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
family first, always.
Okay. So
and health.
what if you had
Yes.
only 3 things to juggle, but they all had to be glass? So if their first one's family, what are the other 2?
Health, because if you're not healthy,
Health.
you can't take care of your family.
I
Yeah.
agree. Okay. So is that like just
And
eating
some-
good, exercising?
Some of the wealthiest people in the world say that without health, you're nothing.
Yeah.
They can be a billionaire, and if they're sick, guess what?
I agree.
What's the point of being rich?
And no time to spend it. So family, health. What's the third one?
Mine's happiness. If that's, a separate category, like if you ask me what I want to be when I'm older, I want to be happy.
But wouldn't you be happy if you didn't drop any of the balls?
Yeah, but I just know from my experience as of late, if I put a work ball or a career ball in there, it's not going to be
But if it's
glass.
happiness, do you think you'd be happy every single day?
If I have my health and family, then yes.
Okay.
So as long as I'm not dropping those balls, but I mean, or friends,
What if you can't pay
I would
your
throw in
bills?
there too. If I can't what?
Pay your bills or like support your family.
That's going to definitely add some stressors, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
So I
That's
would
the
assume
thing.
like finances and like the professional aspect should be some sort of glass ball. Because if you're saying family's glass, health is glass, and happiness,
yeah,
happiness-
I see what you're saying, like because you're gonna need your finances together.
because my assumption is as long as you don't drop any of the balls, you're gonna be happy.
I feel like money, yes, it helps you, as long as you can, support your family and live by, above a certain means, like then the rest of it, I feel like is just irrelevant. Like, for example,
But that
I think
is vital.
some of the poorest people are the happiest people, I feel like, right? I mean, like they might not even have a job or a house and they're still grateful and love every day. Like, they just stay in the moment and maybe they just go fishing every day. I don't know. But
Sounds
some
like
of
a
the
movie.
wealthiest, some of
sounds
the
like a
wealthiest
movie.
people.
But we also gotta be like back in reality. Like things do cost money.
That's true.
You do have to pay for the diapers. Like you do need some sort of income. You can be the happiest family in the world, but you have no income to pay for any of those expenses. You're on the street, and I don't think anyone would be happy living on the street with your family or not paying for whatever the case may be. Like I have to feel that it needs to be.
Speaking
You
of,
definitely.
let's say, damn, I love fatherhood, but damn, diapers are expensive.
Yeah, how much
Yeah.
are the diapers?
TJ, or have you
For
gotten any recently?
oh yeah, I get them. I got them on
You
subscription.
get them shipped?
Yeah, I got subscription based, so
Like
they're probably a
Chewy?
little bit more than
What, monthly?
Yeah, monthly.
How much?
About I think it comes a couple. No, maybe like 4 packs of wipes are in there as well. It's like a combo pack, but let's say roughly like a little over $100 monthly just for that. But that's not to say like sometimes we have to go to the store and get extra.
So give me a rough estimate monthly.
So
$200
probably like-
bucks?
No. Oh yeah. Monthly.
Could be
Yeah,
more
probably
these days.
Yeah, it could be more. 200, 250.
So we talked about over under 8 diapers per day
because
for
yeah,
the newborns.
the younger they are, the more they're going through
Taking
them.
the
So
over.
it depends
say-
on what stage of life
Say
they're
it's
in.
10 a day. So
Yeah.
10 times 7, 70. Math guy, what do you got for a month?
We're talking $500 a month probably for diaper costs. So you look at the first year, do the math on that, 6,000. So my students did a project actually on baby costs, and it varies depending on the brand and how many you need, but
Yeah.
anywhere between the range of like $3,000 to $7,000 they came up with
So
per
you're
year for
you're
the
telling
first
me
year.
worst case scenario, it's taking $6K out of your pocket for diapers.
Yeah,
And that is worst case scenario for one kid.
new dads out there, beware.
And you're telling me finances and income is not a glass ball?
I'm saying it's not my paramount priority. We will figure it out.
Okay.
It's important, but can I drop it from time to time? Yeah. I can't drop family.
That's fair.
I can't
That's
drop
fair.
health. I'm not saying it's
You-
irrelevant or not.
It's more of like a
important.
plastic ball. The
Yes.
finances.
If we're going to have a plastic,
Not rubber, 'cause, yeah,
yes.
it's
like,
more of a
I mean,
plastic.
it can get scuffed up a little bit, but it's still important, but it's not a glass one. I'll never call it a glass ball because I just know I trust my wife. I trust that we're going to make it work. Like if I got laid off tomorrow, Like,
but I'm thinking from like a family as a whole. Like you and your wife
Right.
have no income coming in.
yeah, that's going to
'Cause
complicate
that's
things.
double dipping.
Well, then
Yeah,
that's,
but I think that's when I would find a way to pick up a job, a side job, like, so I don't know if that would be considered a glass ball at that point, but I'm still going to put the other three above.
All right, so your 3 glass balls:
I'll go be a-
happiness, family, health.
Yeah, I'll go be a garbage
TJ,
man.
what about you?
definitely family, health. The last one, I see both your points because, I mean,
Got to pick one.
happiness is everything. I mean, but you do need some form of income coming in if we're being realistic here. So I don't know where I'd be at with that. That's a good point. I think that's why we're debating this right now.
Yeah.
'Cause if you had to just do only 3, I don't know where you're fitting in there. I mean,
TJ's mulling
I would
it
like to
over.
think that, mulling over. I'd like to think that the happiness kind of goes in with the family and
Mhm.
friends. So I think some sort of financial income would probably be the third.
I
If,
guess
if
maybe-
I could kind of do that, because I mean, my family brings me happiness. So,
Yeah.
There you go. So you're playing both.
so yeah, I kind of like cut
both
around
ends.
there.
So clarification one more time.
So family, health, finances.
Okay. So clarification on your end, happiness. You're okay dropping happiness.
No,
No. Okay.
no, I'm going to keep family. And
But what if your
you
health
wanna
isn't
include-
good and you drop that?
yeah, I don't want to drop that either. I'm pretty confident I can juggle 3 balls. I don't know about you guys,
Mm.
but I've practiced that.
So are you saying maybe-
Trip likes that.
Are you saying maybe you're more just optimistic? Because happiness, I feel like it's hard to measure. It's like, what is happy?
Yeah, I think it's just what you surround yourself with. I think it's a feeling, obviously, but it's just it's a lifestyle in a way. So I think if everything else, obviously, we don't live in a world of sunshine and rainbows all the time.
Yeah. Exactly.
So family's not always gonna be like perfect and like providing you like 100% happiness. So you have to like kind of dig deep some days, and that's what this is about because. Maybe we've been making this seem too easy,
Yeah.
but there's some tough days. Like
Yeah.
I'll go on record. I've been, near rock bottom some days, in early stages of fatherhood, like, just kind of crying myself to sleep. Like, what am I doing?
Oh, so you dropped the happiness ball.
I did. I didn't know what the heck
So
was
you-
going on. I was
it
like,
is
am I cut out
possible to
for
drop
this?
it.
Like,
Yeah.
can I be a father? I felt like I was letting my daughter down, my wife down. Yeah. Like I was so sleep deprived. I didn't know what I was doing the first couple weeks. Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
I
and
can only imagine.
I was getting ready to clean the basement and do the attic and all these side jobs, and I couldn't
And you
even
can't
like
even
get
do
through
anything.
the day. Yeah,
No, I want to wash the dishes last night. I couldn't. He literally was freaking out.
yeah.
Out. I couldn't do it. Said, all right, this is gonna have to wait. Went over. As soon as I sat down with him, shut right up.
Well, good thing dishes isn't a glass ball.
No,
That's right.
No,
You need to drop it.
no.
The
So I had to
house-
prioritize. But
the house
you
is
wanna
definitely not a glass ball.
you want to be productive, and
Yeah.
you don't realize like how much time you have to dedicate to them. You
That's
really
okay,
don't.
'cause
You
they're
can't,
family.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's just your life totally changes.
And I think
in even those little things.
Yeah. And I think that's what I was trying to get at is that you can't be happy every day.
No.
Like we're human.
People
We're
call
gonna
me
have-
Buddy the Elf. They think I'm just like smiling
Fake.
24/7.
Well, that's the thing. You do drop the ball sometimes.
yeah. Oh,
I'm saying like these
sometimes
glass balls are non-negotiable. You can never drop it.
right.
So the happiness, I think, is not sustainable.
Okay, so I see you're selling me on that a little bit. You kind of trying to.
Some days I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to do shit, dude. Like, I'm just like, oh, I got anxiety. I'm like sad. I'm not motivated to do anything.
Right.
I just want to rot.
Yeah.
I think sometimes that's okay.
Right. And I think that's where having kids though almost forces you out of that mood because I've woken up like that some days too. And
Yeah.
and you see that
And you got no
smile,
choice.
and then you got to just like show up.
Yeah.
That's why we're talking about showing up, staying present. Like
Yeah.
that's what it's all about. Even when
But-
you don't feel like it inside.
At that point, you're almost like numb to it.
Yes.
I wouldn't say you're happy.
Right. No, you're just trying to put on like sometimes I do that in my
Yeah.
work.
Usually you're sleep deprived, so you're numb. Your brain's numb anyway, and you kind of just go with it.
Some days I wake up and I'm like, I can't go to work right now and put on like a facade for
Yeah.
my students because I'm feeling like super low, And then I know they're all going through stuff too. So I have to go there and put a smile on just for them because I don't want to bring their day down.
Exactly.
And that's like, I'm a role model. Like that's what I have to do. So I put on my big boy pants and I go put a smile on even if I'm not feeling like it. So
Yeah.
but that's how it is in life. And that's how it is being a dad so far in my experience. So, I mean, I'm still going to keep happiness as a top 3 priority. It might be
But it's a
plastic.
glass ball. No, but it has to be a glass ball. You're cheating.
Oh yeah. So I got to learn how to juggle better. So
Or just, I'm just trying to say, like, I feel like happiness doesn't need to be a glass ball. Like, you
Right.
showing up every day.
yeah,
Maybe that's a glass ball.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because
So-
I think that's hard, dude.
Speaking of like Joey Fu, I know we talked about him, but like that's why when you see pictures, maybe like his videos of his house, like that's probably the real deal.
Yeah,
I mean, you got 3 kids now,
is.
and yeah, you talk about like mount dishes in the sink and laundry everywhere, and he's like in piles we trust.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, because you just put all the toys in a pile, and at least you can walk around them then. But
Yeah.
it's so true. Like some days you're
Yeah.
solo and you can't do.
There was no
any
straightening
cleaning.
up of the toys last
Exactly.
night. there
That's
was
the
no
thing.
extra energy
Like
for
you're
that.
allowed to have those days because you guys are exhausted doing so many different
Right.
things. But that's a glass ball. Like you're not going to say like one day I can't juggle that glass ball for a trip, Kenzie or Carson. Like you have to, no matter what you're feeling that day.
Exactly.
So my point of saying like happiness shouldn't be a glass ball because I think some days you got to just do what you got to do, even if you're not happy. So that's my thing of saying like it's not about you juggling him, but
Right.
being okay with, hey, maybe that doesn't
Drop.
need to be a priority.
Right.
So if you had to replace that, what would you replace that with?
I guess I would say purpose. Like if I could throw that one in there, like I feel like I need a purpose, like whether that's teaching or helping others. That's why we go back to this. I want to help other dads. I want to help parents like navigate this and they can relate to us. Be like, yeah, I mean, my kid went through that too. He had 103 fever last week. It felt like, when's this going to end? Right.
Oh.
Like, when is he going to actually be able to sleep and not be
Did he?
100 degrees? Like I've gone through that, not recently,
okay,
but
okay, I was gonna
like I know
say, yeah.
Trip did recently.
Yeah, no, it's
Your
not.
son,
It's
TJ,
just-
but yeah, I
not
mean,
fun.
like, there's so many things that happen on a daily basis, and so I mean, if purpose, I feel like that'll help you wake up too in the morning.
Now we're cooking, Keo.
Purpose.
So you're telling me if you don't drop family, health, and purpose, are you gonna be happy?
Yes, I think that's the equation.
In the last couple days, couple weeks, couple months, how many times would you say you've dropped that purpose ball?
Have I dropped the purpose ball?
Or do you find purpose every single day?
I mean, my kids help me find purpose every
Boom.
day.
So you don't drop it.
Yeah, in terms of maybe some other aspects of purpose, like I might have dropped it a few times, but you know, I'm still there. I'm still there for my students. Like I've been supporting them through their graduation and their, you know, their future endeavors here over the past few weeks with the class of 25 graduating. Congrats, guys. So yeah, I mean, but in terms of purpose with my kids, yeah, every day. So I'm not dropping that. So that's what I wake up and I'm like, I'm a dad. So
I think
Yeah.
I think basically what I was saying earlier is like kind of tying this all together is that it's not work-life balance. It's sometimes you get pulled for one and sometimes you get pulled for the other, and it's all the same life. So instead of making it daunting, it's like, all right, work needs me for an extra hour today. It is what it is. Communicate that with the wife, and then vice versa. Okay, family time's more important. You know, we were gonna have a perfect example. We were gonna have a studio session last weekend, and my family, I'm glad I didn't miss it because I almost missed an absolutely awesome day that
You're about to
memories
drop
were
the ball.
made, and I'll probably remember for a long time. Yeah,
right.
I almost
TJ,
dropped
that's
the
what I'm
ball.
talking
TJ
about.
almost dropped it and he made a diving catch.
But you
Yeah.
would have been okay with dropping that, but I think that should never be okay. Like
No.
that is a non-negotiable.
I'm glad that Wisdom took
I agree
over
with you.
and you got to have a fun family day at the water park. That it looked awesome. Yeah. If
Yeah.
you would have missed out on that, you would have been like, dang.
Yeah, it was
I
cool.
should have been there.
We had a lot of fun. It was
Yeah.
in Ocean City, New Jersey, and they had it was like I guess they're like blow ups, but on the bay.
Inflatable?
Yeah, inflatables on the bay, and it was like an obstacle course. And it was funny because my two of my one niece and my one nephew they're autistic, so they were having a blast out there. My brother-in-law goes out there and just eats shit as soon as he steps on the thing.
RJ?
Yeah.
Shout out RJ. Way to get out there, man.
I was crying,
best,
laughing, and
Yeah, that's right. Rick's
I had a video of it somewhere, but I was like, all right, I should probably go down there. So I went and got they make you wear like a life vest. So I go on, and the first thing is like this ramp. I'm like, how the heck am I going to do this? And sure as shit, I fell, but I caught myself, and it's like steep. So I just kind of like crawled over to the end. I'm like, oh my God, here comes my niece. This girl was better than any kid that was there, and she was autistic. It's just like she was like a spider.
Ninja.
Yeah, like a ninja. It was
That's
like
amazing.
like you know, spiders, they could kind of crawl on anything. Like it's like her feet just stuck to the thing. Like she was just so light on her feet.
Little
And
Spidey.
RJ was just like not keeping up. So I was like, all right, I'll kind of like put myself over here. He ended up getting off, and I just stayed out there with the kids, and I didn't do like much running around. And then at a certain point, they're like, all right, your time
You're
limit's
making fun
up.
of RJ. You didn't even try.
He tried. It wasn't his thing. So even I ate it a couple times. But when we got called in, I just knew. I knew that Alina wasn't going to want to come back in because she just doesn't know any better. And she loves the water. So we're all going back in. All these kids are on the thing with me. And Alina's in front of me. And it got like real skinny. So she falls in the water. So I'm like, all right. So I pick her out. She goes. She falls in again. Pick her up. Get her through. And I'm like trying to get over without falling in. And there she goes. She starts looping around again. And I'm like, no, what are you doing? Lena. So she turns around. Thank God she listens and comes off. And we were all laughing because I was like, man, she would have just kept going.
Oh, my daughter would have been on that all
She's in her own world.
day.
Like she always just lives in Alina's world and does her thing. And it was so cute to see. But I'm so glad. I told my sister-in-law, I was like, yeah, I had a feeling that was going to happen. So I just waited instead of getting off.
Yeah,
so.
see, like,
And that
was
sounds
good.
like a core memory. Like I read something the other day that like the first 5 years of a kid's life, you should focus on core memories each year. And like moments like that, I feel like are core memories. I mean, it's like, remember that one time we went to the water park and like the idea is like, you won't remember much being 2 or 3 or 4, but you'll remember that one time. I think it's like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, no, it was definitely cool because I want to, it's my niece, so me and my brother-in-law are super close, and I want to help them any way I can because it's a lot. It's very daunting, and I do think they're lucky with her. I think she kind of does her own thing, and it's beautiful to watch. But yeah, it's not easy, man.
Oh,
It's
it
like
looked like
that's
you're
like a whole nother level. I mean, we could talk about a whole episode on that. So we'll just
For the
touch on
record,
that.
Emma, if he's ever willing to skip something like that again, text us and cancel the recording.
yes,
None of us should ever
We will
cancel.
reschedule. We will
Yes.
hold it down.
TJ was about to miss that.
Even with my son, they had this place. That was the one part. Then they just opened up this place called The Yard. Shout out to them. It was their second day open. And it was the coolest thing. You walk in and they had like a rope course for like older kids. Like my nephew Cruz loved it. He was going up there. But obviously Trip and we call him Bubs, baby RJ. They couldn't do that. Or baby Joey was there. So they had like the whole thing was turfed out. And they had like the cutest little like lounge chairs, but kid version. It had like a little like sun thing over it. It was so cute. Took pictures with him in it. And then they had these water tables and Trip. Oh my God, he loves the water table.
Awesome.
So that
So,
was
yeah.
like, that was fun too, watching him do that. So I'm so happy that I went and
Yeah, see,
awesome.
we wanted to be there. TJ sent in his pictures, and we were like, "Oh, we got to get down to this place."
Yeah,
like,
if you
it
think
looked
about it, is
legit.
this your second summer? Because you was born, last year?
Yeah, technically.
Yeah,
right?
Technically, it's
technically.
your second summer. If
Yeah.
you think about it, you only have until they're 18.
Yeah, I
They go
know.
to college. Like 18 summers, that's not much.
I can't tell you how many parents I run into, and it's so cliche, but it's so true. I guess that's where cliches come from. Like they say how fast it goes by.
Yeah.
You know, the first 10 years, and those are the core memories. Like Trip, like Kevin said, you might not remember like that exact day at the water park, but he'll see pictures, and you can talk to him and be like, yeah, you went to the water park when you were just 14, 15 months, and I feel like I have memories from when I was 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Maybe it's from stories or pictures. I'm reliving it, but I feel like those are kind of when you can start remembering
Yeah.
things.
I actually
for real.
sat there and I was thinking in my head, like, I want to come back here with my friends or my cousin. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I was telling my cousin Dan, I was like, yo, we should do that one weekend and we'll bring Bryce along with Trip, and I mean, they'll love it. Like, it was just contained. Everything was new,
That's
but it
what
was
it's
like,
all about.
It was nice,
man.
and they even had like a golf simulator inside. They had like refreshments you can buy, drinks, whatever you want. It was really neat.
Yeah, it's about showing up, right?
Yeah, and then
Just
when they
being
get
there.
older, they can
Yeah.
do the obstacle
Enjoying
course.
all
And like
that.
being present. I always see this quote, and it's not 100% accurate, but it's like this concept of your kids will always remember the time you didn't spend with them over the gifts you got them. And like the idea is like no matter how many good gifts you give them or like all those positive moments that you think are going to make an impact, honestly, they only remember like a selected few of those
That's-
core memories. But those moments that you're not there make more of an impact long-term wise. That like in that situation, like if you miss it for a recording long-term, you probably wouldn't have realized the impact it would have made, but not saying there would have been.
Right.
But that is now a core memory. And now it sounds like it's a ripple effect. You're going to go back with Dan and his family and create those core memories even more with your own family. Like, it's just crazy.
That's a powerful quote.
Just one
because,
decision.
Yeah, it's all about showing your kids you're there for them and
Being present.
exactly. Showing them love and showing them like, hey, like we're in this together. So I think that's great. And it reminds me of a quote that I live by as a teacher. Like, students will not remember all the stuff that you taught them, all the content you've gone over throughout the year, but they will remember how you made them feel. And that's always been that's been my motto.
I love that.
From my first year teaching to now, 10 years in. So I still see students that I student taught from 2015. I still have relationship with, and I doubt they remember the algebra or geometry we talked about, but like they remember Motivational Mondays.
Yeah.
Right. And like they remember all the cool memories, Pi Day parties we've had and things like that. And just like the connection that we built throughout 9 months together. So yeah, that's what I'm all about. And the same with being a dad, you just got to be present and stay in the moment as much as possible. Easier said than done.
Yeah.
But maybe to tie everything together here with this topic we've been talking about.
It's 3 glass balls.
Yeah, the work-life balance. I feel like in our society now, with this work-life balance, if it's a hot take, it's like you feel like a failure sometimes, like in both with both glass balls, if you will, right? Or if you want to call them both glass balls, like in both aspects, you feel like a failure sometimes. Like when you're at work and you're missing out on your family time, like you feel like you're failing as a dad or, a parent.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like,
and then if you're like not present with your kids because you're trying to get back to a work email, or like you got that on your mind, you feel like you're failing at work, you know?
It's just natural and guilt.
Right. So it's like that guilt always like sticking with you. So I think that for me, the best thing to deal with that is just to be 100% like locked in when you're somewhere. When you're at work, you're in work mode. Of course, things can come up.
Yeah.
And then, I'll drop everything and go help my family if I need to. That's the glass ball. But you got to be all in at work when you're there, and you got to be all in as a dad when you're on dad duty, and I think that helps to feel like not a failure, to feel successful in that role.
And get that happiness.
Right. Exactly.
Like
Yeah. Because
feeling-
you can't satisfy yourself if you're always thinking that you should be somewhere else.
Yeah, getting pulled in 3 different directions.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
natural.
You'll always feel like you're failing at something.
Yeah,
And I think that's the
I
toughest
agree.
part.
Full circle.
Yeah. So, I mean, my personal take on like the whole 3 balls is I read a book one time, 5 a.m. Club. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it.
Heard of
But
it.
it's like the whole idea of like that routine, building up your morning, starting your day off right. And he talks about just building and like those daily spiritual wins, which is kind of like personal wins, health wins, so physical wins, and then having like a professional development win. So it's kind of like having like personal, professional, and physical. And if you have those daily wins each day, those are the 3 glass balls. For the long term, it just compounds, and like you'll see those long-term effects.
Mm-hmm.
So just built off of what you said with the purpose idea, it's like I think purpose is in replace of work. Like work gives you purpose, and it does give you that financial income.
Right.
But like that purpose is really what fulfills you.
Right.
And I think that's a glass ball you should never drop.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be your work, your 9 to 5, but you should have some purpose every day when you wake up. Yeah. I think that fuels you.
At work, I know my purpose, I try to go in every day saying like, how can I help someone? Obviously with fixing their car, but how could we help them and not make them feel like it's the typical financial burden and help them out in any which way. Like yesterday, there was a woman I could tell just talking to her on the phone that, money was tight and she wanted me to price her out 2 tires. And I said, I absolutely can do that. But she also mentioned that, she felt like something was wrong with the front end. And I said, well, if I'm being honest with you, I said, I could sell you 2 tires, no problem. I said, but I don't feel right because you can get the 2 tires and then in a few months, those tires are going to be wearing unevenly and you're going to be back at square 0. So why don't you just drop the car off with us one day? I can schedule it. Let my guys take a look at it. We won't charge you to look at it, but at least we could see what's going on, and then we can tell you what needs to be done. And she was like, okay, like I appreciate that. And she actually did drop it off. And when we took a look at it, she needed a lot of work. She needed a lot of run. The thing had about 170,000 miles on it. And I called her and I said, listen, I preface it, if this was my car, this is where I would start. You need to put it's time. You need to put some money into this car.
And people respect that when you say,
and
like,
I really,
this is
I
what
really
I would do to my own
think
car.
She saw me like trying to put myself in her shoes. And I said, this is the priority list of what you need to get done. Why don't we start with this? And then you can come back for the rest. And that's what she did. And that makes me happy because I feel like I truly help someone.
Yeah.
Our industry does not get a good rep, but our business is really family, and they've been doing good for a long time, and that's how you do it. You take care of people.
Yeah.
And guess what? She'll come back for that other work. There's no doubt in my mind because I could feel like she trusts me now, and that makes me feel good. That was my purpose for my day, so I try to do that.
Yeah. And like, what if you did that every day and being intentional, like helping people, and that's pretty much all you were trying to do. Like, regardless of the news, yes, maybe it's not the best news. It's going to cost like an arm and a leg, but you're just being honest. Like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. This is what
a
it's
lot
gonna
of
look like.
times sometimes it doesn't go that smooth
course
for
not.
different reasons, but you know,
But people
we
respect
were on the
that
same level. She definitely had
transparency.
respect. I always try to be transparent. And it is what it is. I always tell people, you know, we didn't break your car. We're just here to help you fix it. You know, and because they naturally want
motto.
to take
Yeah.
their frustrations out on you.
And that's what Bricks Best is all
natural,
about.
so.
Putting the customer first, right?
Yeah.
Shout out Bricks Best.
Bricks Best, man.
That's right.
So what's our final outcome of the 3 balls? What do we got
I like
as a
what
collective?
I like the circle of life theme, you know, with
Yeah,
the,
definitely.
the whole juggling. Like it's all kind of one life, you know.
Instead of the work-life balance per se, it's more of one
They're all
circle.
connected.
It's
One
all
unit.
connected. And
Yeah.
sometimes you get pulled on one more so than the other. And I think if you want to go to the 3, I would say family, health, and purpose. I think we landed
Yes.
we're in agreement
Family, health, and purpose.
Yeah.
Oh.
Me and Keo on the same page, dude.
Yeah.
So that's a first.
there. Yeah, that was good.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Hey, before we forget,
yeah.
I think Kevin had a story. Did you want to tell us
story?
about a psychic?
Oh, yeah.
How could we forget that?
Of course. So, yes. Believe it or not, Taylor actually went to another psychic yesterday. And I guess TikTok has these live psychics. And TikTok is still like a new world to me.
Is this a virtual psychic?
It's a video, like, you know, I guess you could go live on TikTok and Instagram live and YouTube live. Like, you can start recording live. I guess
We're still learning.
psychics do it. I'm like, well, I had no idea. I'm just trying to collect my thoughts.
We've been
here,
waiting
but-
for this story for
but
at
yes.
least 24 hours, right?
She
T?
calls me yesterday. I was like, I think
Yeah.
I was at Stop and Shop getting like snacks because Squid Games came out yesterday, so we had to stock up.
Load up on the Oreos.
Yes, we crushed it. But she calls me and she's like, yeah, I just left the psychic. I'm like, what? Like, I just left like 5 minutes ago. Like, what do you mean you left the psychic? And she's like, oh, I was TikTok. I was like, what do you mean TikTok? I'm like in the middle of like looking for snack. I'm like, what do you mean you just left the psychic? She's like, it's TikTok. I was waiting in line and I asked him some questions. I was like, okay. Like, what'd you ask? She's like, typical. She only got 2 questions. The first question was, are Kevin and I going to get divorced? Luckily, answers. What do you think?
No.
Heck no.
Correct. Yes. No.
That
But-
was her first question?
That was her first question.
Oh
That's what she told me. But the idea behind that was like,
Come on,
50-50 shot.
Tay.
I'll take those odds any day of the week. But the idea is like, yeah, let's see what they say. Who cares? But then the second question, are we going to have a kid this year? Guesses?
Drum roll on that. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
Saying emphatically, are we talking by 2026? Like end of year? Like, is that,
I can ask clarification. That's all I know this year.
I'm going to say emphatically yes.
I agree.
Guess time will tell.
Are you telling us the answer
No.
from the psychic?
No. I just don't know the answer.
Do you know it or?
Of course I do.
Oh, I thought Taylor didn't tell you.
Can't leave us hanging.
She said yes. So we'll see. But that's the thing. Like, that's the idea. Is like, who knows what it's going to come true?
Boom.
But yes, the psychic official report. Yes,
Wow, see?
maybe.
Okay.
We'll see.
Those are always like eerily accurate.
Is
I
this
don't know about the
is this like a
TikTok
TikTok
psychic, but-
famous
Again, Keo,
psychic?
you want to take this as, I don't know, for face value.
Yeah.
It is TikTok live.
Yeah. Hey,
It's
I
a
mean,
50-50 shot. Yes, no, yes,
there's
no.
something to it. I'm a believer.
So we'll see.
I'm a believer, but yeah,
Our
time will
priorities
tell.
have shifted. We're closing on the house, so that's more of a priority. So we'll see what happens down the
Yeah,
road. We're just having
congrats.
fun.
Congrats
you know?
to that.
So that's kind of like the idea. You kind of caught me off
exciting.
guard there, Keo.
Everything's going good
Well,
with that?
living the
Kevin texted us just a quick backstory like 24 hours ago, and so I've been thinking about it since. And he's like, I'm
Yeah.
saving it for the episode.
That's
so
true. You kind of left us on a cliffhanger.
That's why I didn't want to forget. But there we go. So
I don't know. That's
how do we
weird.
follow that up with the joke?
No, I want to finish up the glass balls.
Oh yeah, that was a little quick intermission.
Yeah. What happens if you drop all 3 glass balls?
Oh,
Have you ever had a day like that?
I
Or a
think
week or a month?
I feel
I
like
think
I've
Kendrick
had.
said,
yeah.
said he
Broken down?
has.
I definitely have felt like I've dropped all of them. Maybe I haven't, but in my mind I did because I was just at a low point, and that's when I vividly remember like talk about day 2 of being home. We talked about coming home from the hospital, and it's like the best feeling ever. Not always. Like, yeah. I mean, here's a disclaimer: it's not always sunshine and rainbows. Like we brought our daughter home. You know, it sure is a great feeling. We're home. Like we have our child. Like she's 6 pounds. Like, you know, it's just. but you're not sleeping much. Like we had to wake her up, talk about waking a sleeping baby. We were recommended to wake her up every 3 hours, even if she was sleeping, to feed her.
Yeah, that's a little
Get her
different.
weight
Didn't
back
you just
up.
say no?
Yes, but when they're fresh out,
exceptions.
you kind of need it. It's about every 3
rules?
I mean, doctors say that, but
I'm sure maybe some old school parents are like, no, I'm not waking them up.
I mean, they usually wake up on their own at that age.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
constant.
And
like
she was
every
waking us up
3
most of the
hours.
time. But anyway, so sleep deprived, and it's like day 2 and barely slept. And I just felt like I was dropping every glass ball. I felt like my wife was like kind of struggling, figuring everything out, as rightfully so. Like there's no instruction manual. You're trying to figure out how to raise a child. And like, yeah, they're figuring out like, breastfeeding, and like there's so many things that like the mom does that it's just like a miracle. It's like unreal that they can figure it out so quickly. But with anything, it takes practice. So like, yeah, like she's struggling, the baby's struggling, I'm struggling, and like, I haven't even seen the cat in days. I don't even know if I've been like feeding the cat, like trying to keep up with her. And I just felt like I was dropping every glass ball, like family. I certainly didn't feel like happy at the time. And my purpose, I felt like I had purpose, but I was like letting it down. Like I was like dropping the ball there too. So yeah, that was a low point. I was like crying myself to sleep 3 a.m. Like,
What about the health?
oh yeah, I don't even know if I had like,
Were you healthy?
probably not. I mean, I felt like, I'm sure I was like functioning, but I was probably malnourished and probably needed some more water.
But I mean, like for face value, like were you sick? Were you healthy?
I mean, I was run down in terms of like
you
sleep.
still had
So
your
yeah,
health.
I probably like was not 100% by any means. So
But was
yeah,
the glass ball broken?
it wasn't broken, but it was
That's good.
certainly, yeah. So I didn't drop all of them, I guess, but I was hanging on by,
I
by
think that's a
thread.
W. And you
Yeah.
ended up okay, right?
Yeah. And hey, I mean, the second week was better than the first week. And we had a lot of backup. Shout out to the grandparents. Like, they gave us some naps and came over and, saved the day a few times. So like
Yeah.
every time, but
Yeah, the beginning's rough for sure.
oh yeah. So I certainly felt, and that wasn't even work wasn't even in question at the time. I mean, I was on paternity leave. So like,
And that's kind of the thing. Like I would say that's probably one of my biggest fears of having a kid is like having those type of days and having those moments where I drop all the glass balls.
yeah, and
'Cause
trying
now
to
at this
bounce
point,
back.
We have a child that's depending on us. And if you drop those glass balls day after day after day, like that is not good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's what makes me nervous. That's my fear. So it's kind of like having this high visibility of pressure on yourself to make sure you do whatever it takes to make sure you don't drop those balls.
Right.
I think it's only natural for you to feel that fear, though.
Yeah.
That's totally normal.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's why I'd say, I think I've said it before, but on record, like going from 1 to 2 was easier for me personally than
Yeah,
0
because
to
you
1.
went through it
I
once
felt
already.
like super dad, right? Like
Yeah.
I felt like, oh, I know what I'm doing this time around. So I was able to help my wife more and help the
Yeah.
baby. And, and then we had a toddler. We had 2 under 2 for 3 months. So,
A lot of new in the beginning, and
Yes.
it's very overwhelming.
right.
And
So
you feel run
that's why
down.
Kevin asked me if I'm ready for a third. I'm like, sure.
Yeah. They say, I mean, people say it gets easier.
Yeah.
As weird as that sounds, but they do say it
My
does get
wife
easier.
always says, she's like, good thing we didn't have our first child at like age 24 or 25, because she's like, I would have wanted like 10. Would have had like
Yeah.
a whole football
That would've
team.
been awesome.
That's how it
basketball
was
team,
back when our parents were younger.
right? Oh, I know. Shout
The
out to her
sh- the
grandma.
shift.
Yeah, like 7 kids. And I can't even keep track of how many grandkids and great grandkids she has now. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wait, why do you think that was? Like 24 versus now?
we weren't ready. Like we talked about that last episode. We were not ready in our own minds.
No,
to-
but I'm saying like she would have been open to having 10, you said?
oh, yeah, just because like
Younger, more energy,
we,
right?
we love our babies. Like
Yeah.
she's got baby fever. Like
Started earlier. You
I
would
mean, we're biased. We think we have the best kids. I'm sure, like every
Yeah, of
parent.
course.
But yeah, I mean, because they grow up so fast, and you're like, what happened to my baby?
Yeah.
Even our son, he's 7
Yeah.
months, and it's like he's such a big boy already, like crawling around pretty much. So yeah, she's like, well, where's our baby? Like ready for another one. So I think that's part of it. Like she just loves the baby phase. So
Yeah.
maybe a lot of moms, like some moms are like, I do not want to go through a 9-month, 10-month pregnancy again. Like, but
Yeah,
I mean,
get it.
all in all, I think ours were pretty smooth, for the most part. So if there is a third, hopefully that track record continues. But yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
what do we think is most important? Family, purpose, health.
Family.
I want to say family, but I'm only torn because if you're not healthy, you can't help your
I was
family.
going to say you could argue health, and that goes
Yeah.
back to making time.
As
for
bad as that sounds, but
Right.
you can't
Why does
help
that sound bad?
somebody if
Well,
you're.
it starts with you. Yeah, that doesn't
Yeah.
sound bad.
I guess not. You got yeah.
It sounds selfish in
You
a way,
can't help.
but
It sounds selfish, but you can't help others if you're not. If you don't have help yourself,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. If you're not okay yourself,
Like it's you. Like that's the thing. If you're not you or you're not around,
I
you
think
can't
that's-
have the other two.
yeah, and that's why it's so tough in the beginning because you don't feel like you always like, you know, the moms especially, I'm sure after everything they've gone through and like the dads are just trying to like figure it out, you know,
Especially the
and
yeah.
sleep deprived and yeah, you're not feeling like yourself.
Emma still
100%.
has remnants of
It. And it's just
sometimes
like
she can't explain. And she's
incredible.
like she'll get emotional out of nowhere, and I'm like, "What's the matter? You all right?" And she's like, "I don't know. I can't explain it." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, the whole miracle
wild.
process is just amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it takes a time period to adjust and kind of get back to who you are. But
Mhm.
yeah, when you're not yourself, yeah, your family's going to
Suffer. They're gonna
Yeah,
suffer because
yeah.
you can't help them.
right.
So I would say health, family, purpose.
I agree.
you sold me on that.
Sold.
We're unanimous. I mean, I'm always gonna say family first, but I'm with you. You got to take care of you 1st.
Mhm.
You know, so yeah,
Cool.
that was a good analogy.
What?
The juggling.
I mean, that's kind of what life is.
I can't
if you
take
think about
credit for it. I think it was actually I was less than a month old. This original analogy, I was doing a little research. I think it's from 1991, Georgia Tech commencement speech. Former CEO of Coca-Cola. Blanking on his name, but
that's
Yeah.
the thing, though. It's like life is just juggling different responsibilities, different activities, and as you get older, compared to when you were a kid,
Yeah.
teenager, to now,
right.
it's like those responsibilities change, but you're still balancing, juggling.
Yeah. Sometimes you get, I mean, you keep those same core juggling balls, but sometimes, you know, more get thrown into it too. And then you find yourself juggling 5, 6, 7.
They're always going to change, but I think the priority is different.
I think that's
now.
the problem right there. Like, why are you taking on more?
Yeah. Well, hopefully they're rubber and not glass because you got to stick with the ones that you can, you know, keep safe.
But the rubber balls don't
Priority.
even belong in there.
Yeah. Just get rid of them. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right. So
So are you kind of stretching yourself too thin?
that's kind of my MO.
Why?
Yeah,
If it affects other glass
I'm trying
balls.
to change that now. I'm trying to put more priority on the family and the health and those
Oh.
3. So it's a work in progress, but
So you're still going through it then?
oh yeah, every day.
Okay.
I'm always like, oh, should I go to this? You know, like, should I go to this event or that event? Right. I mean, I'm like,
I
think-
think for some people naturally, like with your personality, I think it's easier for you to kind of pick like, okay, I don't need this, waste
Mhm.
my time, energy on it. And other people, it's a little harder. And I think with you two, that's apparent. Like you, it's like, nah, it's not a priority. I'm not even going to waste my time. Where Kendrick might feel some kind of guilt in some type of way, like,
a
oh,
little
you know,
FOMO.
should I go either FOMO or should I do this because maybe it'll look good for that? And I'm just sitting here listening to, and I feel like it's very apparent, and it's going to be harder for different people with different personalities.
TJ's a voice of reason. Like, I couldn't have summed that up better. Like,
I mean, I feel like I'm in the middle because I'm guilty of both. Like I sometimes I'll feel like you, and whether it's a FOMO thing or I feel like, oh, it's just the right thing to do. And then there's other times where I'm like you, I might just be like, no, that's a waste of my time. Like I could be doing something way
Yeah.
better. But
It's like-
it's so hard to balance that. Like I am not perfect by any means.
Yeah.
But
And it's
that's
like
just me
energy.
sitting here watching you guys and
Ooh, energy. I would put that in the health bucket. Right?
Yeah, it's not about scheduling it into your time. Like, do you have enough energy to get these things scheduled in a day, right? Because if you're only running on 20%,
that's a whole other problem.
and now
Yeah.
you're trying to squeeze more into your day. Like my wife will back you up on that 100%. Like I'm always trying to be like, oh yeah, you know, I'll stop by this grad party and that grad party, you know, and I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
bringing my kids, and then
I actually remember a couple of years ago, I know I was driving with you and Shannon one time. It's funny. This is like perfect example. And I could feel that Shannon was frustrated because your time was so limited because
Mhm.
you were spreading yourself thin. And basically you were doing, I think you were coaching track or one of the sports. And I just said like simply like, Kendrick, why don't you just call quits after this season? Just dedicate more time to Shannon. Like, you know, it's not worth it. And Shannon, I think, was like so happy because I could tell in her face, like it was good to hear it from someone else that was close to you and not her. So it
Yes.
didn't feel like she was like controlling you, but she wasn't. She just genuinely wanted to be with you more, and you didn't see it because you're in it.
Right.
So it
and I
just
was
helped.
burning it at both ends for a long time.
Yes,
There, you
and it
know,
was-
and I
and
was
it
coaching
sounded
every
like it.
sport under the sun. I was getting home at 11 o'clock from track meets, and, you know, I was like going for a walk. I vividly remember this. This was like February, like midwinter walk with Shannon, and just trying to like catch our breath. Like, what can we do to change this? I was like, I have to give something up. Talk about it. I had too many balls at the time. I was juggling way too much, and I was like, I have to give something up. And I wasn't going to quit my job entirely, but I was like, I can't coach anymore. Like, I couldn't keep spending, 8 hours after school, like on buses. And I loved what I was doing, but I just like, I had to talk to my good friend, and coworker. And I was just like, I'm sorry, I can't keep doing this, and shout out to him. He makes it look easy. He's a dad of 3 and he's coaching 3 sports still. And I don't know how he does it, but he makes it look easy. So, I mean, I don't regret it. No, my wife, she wasn't even pregnant yet. But we were in the process of thinking about starting a family. And I was like, I can't keep doing this. I can't be showing up at 5, 6 o'clock at night when my wife's pregnant or, when there's a kid at home. So that's when it hit me. Like, I can't keep doing this. So I stopped coaching. I resigned after that year. And
I remember.
Never looked back.
You ended up following through with it like 3 months later or whatever when the season was over. And
that was it. And then I tell you, it was the biggest weight off my shoulders when I made that decision in my mind, because I was like, I can breathe. I can do this now. And sometimes you got to do that. You got to drop a ball. And so that was
sacrifice it. It's like, it's okay.
Between trying to keep up with friends and, work, life, family, it was impossible. So I dropped that. I felt better. Yeah. Maybe I'll get back into it when my kids grow up a little bit, but for right now, I'm just loving being a dad. So,
and do you feel like you were doing all those things like because you were chasing purpose? Like, did you feel like the purpose maybe was not there yet?
Yeah, I felt like I did sports in high school, and that's kind of why I wanted to be a teacher in the first place. The coaching was almost more enticing than the teaching. And so, but I did tennis and basketball and track, cross country. I tried them all, and I loved each part of it. But the purpose there wasn't enough to keep me around. My purpose was more at home.
Building a family.
Yeah, building a family. Yeah, being a husband, being a father now. And I mean, I wish I almost would have had that when I was younger. Like, I was one of those perfect attendance guys. I was getting awards for like not missing a day of work for the whole year, like my first few years. So
I feel like that was you in school in general.
Geez, 6 years. 6 years
Didn't you get like an award for like never missing?
They gave me an award my senior year. I don't know if you guys remember, but I
thought so.
They were like, we know this guy's going to be in attendance because he hasn't missed a day of school since 7th grade.
Wait, I wish you brought that up sooner, because didn't you say earlier that you missed so many days this last 2 years?
Yeah.
So you're like almost a different person to who you were for those 6 years.
Right. I mean, well, paternity leave in itself was 12 weeks. So I'm not even including those days, but I think I burned through all my sick days, even on top of that. So I was there like 50% of the days this year. But I hadn't missed like any days my first 4 or 5 years of teaching. So the sub caller was never hearing from me. And then she was hearing from me all the time this year. But I mean, I had to be elsewhere, right? Like my family,
priorities.
Yeah, they needed me. So I dropped that ball a few times.
And that's the thing. Like, that's why I hate the whole idea of work-life balance.
Yeah.
Just having 2 buckets. First off, it's just work and then life. Like, that is no way to live. Like, there's so much more to it.
Right.
And when you become more intentional with what you're going about daily, creating that purpose, having that family, focusing on your health, you can't go wrong with those. And like hyper-focusing on those 3 pillars will lead to those other balls that you can start handling. Doesn't say like you can't start coaching in a couple of years when your kids get a little bit older. Maybe you're coaching them. And now you kind of do 2 birds at one stone. And that's the idea.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Now I'm like, I have more purpose because I just got to give my daughter a quick shout out. She did her first basketball camp this past week. She had 4 days of basketball camp with the big kids, like with 3 and 4 year olds.
She's like 2.5, right?
She's not even 2.5. Yeah, just about. But I mean, I knew she could do it, but it was a lot when you got 50 kids that are older than you and bigger and faster and have had more experience. And she's just in this gym, didn't know what to do. The first couple of days, there was a lot of sitting and moping around, and we were just trying to make it fun. And by day 3, she was running with them, passing it and shooting on the baby hoops. And it was like the coolest thing as a father. Like, I get emotional thinking about it because like I was so proud of her. And she said, like, she goes, "Dad, can you help me dribble?" She goes, "Dad, help me dribble." And I was like tearing up on the court.
I got you.
Yeah, I was like, I got you.
Her dad was a good basketball player.
Yeah, like I'm getting teary eyed. So like, and then we would hide her baba, like her water bottle. So she loved running back and forth for like. My dad asked her what her favorite part of camp was, and she goes, "Baba breaks." She loved running after their water bottle and just having a sip of water. But it was like the coolest thing. So get your kids involved early. That's my advice.
Core memory.
Yeah, swim class.
Just about,
yeah.
That was adorable.
I was so proud of her. It was a lot of fun. So
see? happiness.
Yeah,
It's kind of
so-
just like it's proud. It's like those moments
Full
exactly
circle.
there.
Yeah.
And that's essentially
And I
kind
couldn't miss that. I didn't want to miss that, you know?
course not.
So, yeah. So
That's
when they're
awesome.
older, I'd love to coach them because I have core memories of my dad coaching me in baseball and basketball and, you know, parents yelling. Like, I'm going to
Yeah.
try not to be that dad that's yelling and taking it to the extreme. But
Yeah,
stay
I
tuned.
remember that.
Stay tuned, you
My
know?
uncle coached me for when I was younger for a while. That was awesome memory.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And you always have those parents that get a little crazy.
Right. Oh, I know. Yeah. I remember like, you know, the refs always like talking to some parents like, you got to settle down. This is rec basketball. You know,
Yeah.
my dad was always good coach, getting everybody in the game and we still had success. So yeah, it was fun times, but yeah, good stuff, guys.
And I like
This
to
is-
think
this is
kind of like
great.
to wrap all this up is the concept of why we're here today was a mixture and combination of all those things, creating that purpose, creating that time so that we can have more time in the future with our family,
Right.
while at the same time taking care of our health. Because I do think it is important to have hanging out with your boys, kind of having that time that you need, not alone, but to kind of talk.
Definitely for the mental health.
Like you don't
Oh,
need to
sure.
be spending 7 hours in the bathroom. That is an absurd stat. You
I
need
gotta
to send me
check
that
that
article.
one.
7 hours in a bathroom. That's wild.
I got to check that one.
But like the idea of that is a part of the mental health. Maybe that's why. But like that's why we're doing what we're doing here. And with that being said, like this is what's leading to our, I guess, season finale.
we got to
This is,
practice what we
season
preach.
one.
This
This is our
is
fifth
it.
episode.
Yeah.
So
we're going
the
to spend
idea-
some time with our families this summer.
Yeah.
So
Summer
yeah.
break's officially in,
that's it.
and we're gonna be spending the next couple months with them, creating that
Yeah. So
purpose and value. So
season finale.
safe to say there is no work-life balance. It's just all life broken up into purpose.
Family,
And health.
not
Purpose,
necessarily
family,
in
health.
that order.
There we go. Well, stop. All right, hit us with the joke.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we got to end season one finale with a joke. You guys ready for this? We've been getting your feedback, you know, and some viewers, some audience jokes coming in hot. So here's our favorite one. So here we go. A man goes to a priest and he says, "I have a strong desire to live forever." And the priest goes, "Get married." And he goes, "Well, will I live forever then?" And he goes, "No, but the desire will disappear."
That was a good one.
So we got a little
Okay,
laugh.
Keo.
We got
Okay,
a little
Keo.
laugh.
You
from-
actually
little
got Kevin
laugh
on that
from-
one.
from Kev there.
I like that.
I can't take credit for that one, and luckily I don't feel that way about my own wife. I don't think any of us do. But shout out John K for that joke.
Yes, thank you for the submission, John K.
Appreciate
Yes,
it, John.
That was good.
Keep them coming.
That's right. Keep those jokes coming in for season 2.
And that's why they call it a joke.
All right,
That's
so how do
right.
we want to leave off the audience?
And well, we appreciate all your support, you know, for season 1 and this little adventure we're going on with the dad chapter. So yeah, 5 episodes in the books, and we can't wait to bring some new content to you in season 2.
Yeah, I'd like to say we welcome all comments. We love engaging with you guys. So hit us up on any of our socials or even the podcast itself.
At the dad chapter, we'll
Absolutely.
be back Labor Day weekend.
Dads, keep winging it one diaper at a time.
See you later.
See you in the
See ya.
fall.